This is episode number 2, Fighting the Other Battle We Can't See. Welcome to Alive by Design. My name is Blake Mallon, and we're here to bring you inspiring people, principles, and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. Open your mind and let's dive in. Hey guys, before you listen to the podcast, I just want to drop in and say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm super excited about this new Walk With Me series. These are solo episodes where I take some time in the middle of my morning run through the Santa Monica Mountains to share some inspired ideas and thoughts on my mind and heart. If you want to join me for any of these conversations live, you can catch me many mornings on my Facebook page, facebook.com/BlakeMallon.page. Would love to see you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Walk with me for a few minutes. Is it just me, or does it feel like we're in a battle right now? Like a battle, like in the middle of some crazy, different, extreme kind of war. Any of you guys feel that right now? Every single day with kind of the way you're waking up, going through the day, when you're going to bed? Give me some feedback below. Drop a comment of just how you feel right now about the crazy crisis we're all facing across the world. I feel like we're in a battle. I feel like we're in a war. We're in a war that's worldwide. Like a really unique time. We're in a war right now where it's like everybody across the world, all humanity, all society is facing the same challenge at the exact same time. Aligned as one, right? As humanity, as society, as people. We're in a war, we're in a battle against something like you can't even see. An enemy you can't even see. An enemy you can't even touch. An enemy you can't even taste, you can't even hear, you can't even smell. Like an enemy we're facing right now, a battle that's outside all of our senses. An enemy that can expand and can grow virally. And I know some of you guys think I'm talking about the coronavirus, COVID-19, because everything I just said is true of that enemy, and that is a war and battle we're facing right now. But what I'm more concerned about, even beyond the real severity of the virus we're all facing, I'm personally more concerned about the other battle, the other war, the other virus that all of us are fighting right now. At least with corona, you need to have some sort of physical proximity, right? You gotta touch or come in contact with another person or thing to actually extract it. So I don't want to minimize it, it's serious. But there are precautions we can take and things within our control. The virus I'm talking about is growing even faster, is growing even more viral, is affecting even more people at a much rapid rate, has a lot of the similar qualities. We can't see it, we can't hear it, we can't taste it. It's affecting all of us across the world at the exact same time. And what's crazy is this one grows without even physical contact. This one can grow and infect and affect right from your phone, right from your social media feed, right from the news channels, right from the tweets, right from the television. You guys, the battle I'm more concerned with right now, the virus I'm more concerned with right now, the war I'm more concerned with right now is fear. Fear. Right now, the bigger pandemic, in my opinion, is a crisis or a virus or a battle or a war, whatever term you want to use, against fear. Now, I know there's a lot of conversation, a lot of feeling, and some people use the word fear, some people use different language, anxiety, concern, worry, panic. I've talked to a lot of people in my own social circle that aren't sleeping well at night right now. How many of you guys know people right now that you've heard those words or at least sense those feelings of worry or concern or panic or people are tossing and turning at night. You guys, it doesn't mean they have corona, but it does mean they're facing the other virus we're all facing, which is up against fear. Let's talk about this for a minute here. You guys, fear, don't get me wrong, fear is something we all need. Fear serves us, right? If you go back to why we have that instinct, why we respond that way, I mean, it was initially created for survival, right? Matter of fact, our oldest brain, right back here, some call it the reptile brain or the lizard brain, where that fear response lives, like that was what was created, is to keep us safe. But over, the last however many thousands and thousands of years, we've developed this whole new brain. Matter of fact, it's even called that, right? The neocortex, our new brain that has the ability to think and process thoughts, which is amazing. It's what separates us from our ancestors, but not to go into the neurology of it. That's not the point of today's talk. It's an amazing tool we have up here, but that tool only works based on complete and accurate information. This has to have complete and accurate information for it to process correctly. In the absence of complete and accurate information, the problem is we get stuck in this loop, right? Where we start to ruminate, we start to worry, right? We start to process, we start to try to solve problems without all the information, and we get stuck in this worry loop or this depression loop where we're trying to find certainty without enough information to really be certain. Enter the time that we're in right now, where a time there isn't complete and accurate information. Hence why so many people are stuck in this loop and why it's growing as fast as it's growing. So you might be saying, well, what can we do? Because I know there's a lot of people that are dealing with this. Matter of fact, I'll pause, let me check in. Let's be open and honest for a minute. How many of you guys know people right now that are stuck in that loop, like ruminating, thinking, worried, concerned, maybe even having panic attacks, not sleeping? How many of you guys know people? Comment below. If you're willing to be strong and say it's affecting you, comment below. I'll tell you that you won't be the only one. It's affecting many of us right now, and rightfully so. It's a dire situation. It's a real situation. So you might be saying, well, Blake, this all sounds super negative. What can we do? Let me give you some thoughts on what we can do to fight the greater pandemic, this pandemic of fear, and keep fear from going viral, right? Keep fear from growing faster and larger in a greater magnitude than it has to right now as we combat the battle we should be combating, the real battle, which is the virus itself. First thought, and I know this is easier said than done, don't solve problems that don't yet exist. Don't solve problems that don't yet exist. You guys, look at history, your own history. If you were to manage to take an inventory right now of everything you've ever worried about, every problem you've ever stressed about, every thought you've ever had to try to solve something you thought would happen, if you had an ability to take an inventory right now of every single one, challenges, stresses, worries, concerns, thoughts, planning of problems in the future that you were trying to solve and you were putting emotional energy into, and I were to ask, if you were to look at all of those, what percentage of those really became reality? What percentage of those concerns really became reality? I'm willing to bet for all of us, 99+ % of things we stress about, worry about, get anxiety about, never actually happen. Am I right or am I wrong? Is this true or is this false? If we were to be honest with ourselves, for every one of us individually, of all the energy we put into worrying about what could happen, I'd say 99+% of those never actually happen, which means 99% of our mental energy, emotional energy, worry, concern, anxiety is futile, in vain, waste of life, solving problems that don't yet exist. So guys, first thing to stop fear from going viral, to battle this greater pandemic we're all facing, is we can't solve problems that don't yet exist. Now, don't get me wrong, we need to solve real problems that really exist. And we have experts all across the world coming together. It's amazing to see, banding together to solve those problems with the best minds that we have. We can't put our head in the sand like an ostrich or curl up in a ball or be overly naive. Like, if it's a real issue, it's a real issue. But if it's not a real issue, it's not a real issue. And we got to ask ourselves and be real with ourselves. Which leads me to kind of the second point. Well, then what do? Focus on what we can control. You guys, everything falls into two buckets. Things you can control, things you can't control. I know we like to lie to ourselves, thinking and creating a facade that we're really in control of more than we are. But you guys, we gotta be real. Elevating consciousness, self-awareness, emotional intelligence is really coming to the conclusion and admitting what is within our control and what is not in our control and being okay with that. So what is within our control? And what's outside of our control? If it's outside of our control, it's outside of our control. You can't do anything about it. So stressing about it isn't gonna do anything about it, except get you in that worry loop. What is in our control? Being prepared, making smart choices, following the instructions that we've been given by the experts, so that way we can take care of ourselves, our family, and not be a hurt or a threat to those we come in contact with. That's all within our control. We should be doing all of that. Sorry for the heavy breathing. Straight uphill right now. Headed back to the house. What else can we be doing? A couple more thoughts. Share facts, not fear. Don't be a perpetuator of the fear virus, but be a teacher of the facts to help educate and inform. So you gotta have a filter. Is this a fact or is this fear? As you're getting the information, is this a negative headline to get clicks and eyeballs as media competes for our attention? Or is this a real fact from a valid source that I should really consider? That should be your question number one. Is this fact or is this fear? Right? Is this a real fact or is it propaganda? Playing games. We got to decipher the facts versus the fear and share the facts. Be an educator, be a teacher, be a credible source. Don't be a perpetuator of the fear virus. You guys, that's even worse than like having the coronavirus and playing a game and running around and touching as many people as you can. You wouldn't do that. Well, then don't do it with the fear virus. Don't get fear and run around and touch as many people as you can through your posts, through what you're sharing, through your conversations, through your texts. It's even worse. You can touch more people all day long from the luxury of your own home and they don't even know you're doing it. You're infecting people. Share facts, not fear. What else can we do? Let's flip it to positive. What I mean by that is, how do we raise the ratio of positive facts to negative? Real talk, if I were to ask you guys right now, and again, I'm going to play the mental math game, hypothetically, if right now you could actually pull every piece of information that we're coming into your senses every single day, what percentage would be positive information versus negative information? Think about that. For every one positive story, positive outcome, positive fact, how many negatives are we filtering? Ooh, that's a scary thing to think about. I don't even know. One positive to every 100 negatives? 1,000 negatives? 10,000 negatives? I do know the ratio is totally backwards. So what can we control? We can control flipping the ratio. Guys, our positive should be higher than our negative of what we're sharing. But Blake, there's not positive happening. Yeah, right, there's positive happening all day long, every day. Yesterday I read a story of the first and oldest 95-year-old out in New York to recover from the virus. Like, that's a positive story. I'm reading stories of people banding together, sharing, together, exercising, out in Italy. People all going out on their balconies at the same day and group exercising on their balconies together. The story of the Instagram parties where DJs are coming on and doing virtual parties and people banding together. Organizations rising up, first responders going out. Like, guys, there is so much positive energy that people are uniting and banding to solve this real problem, the problem of the virus, that is getting overshadowed by all the negative. We got to flip our ratio. You guys tell me, whatever your ratio is right now, I challenge you to flip it. If it's 1 positive to every 100 negative, it should be 100 positive to every 1 negative. Again, we're not ignoring the facts. We need to be educated and equipped. We need to confront reality. But we don't want to perpetuate the virus of fear by skewing the ratio because, we love drama and negativity grows faster. Last one I'll give, guys, almost at the end of the trail here. we all know that our emotion affects our action. We've all felt that. If we're feeling, again, worried, concerned, anxiety, all of those are just different words for fear of the future. A lot of times it's harder to get out of bed. It's harder to take a positive step. It's harder to be a voice for good. It's harder to share positivity, like you get in this negative emotional state and affects how we act. We're all there. How many of you guys can relate? What you also have to understand, though, is the inverse is true. Emotions do affect our actions, but actions affect our emotions. What I mean by that is, don't think about the emotion. Just start with taking a step of action. When you take a step of action, you start to be in motion. An object in motion stays in motion. A person in action stays in action. When you take the first step, you're more likely to take the second and the third. You got to take the first step. So guys, start doing things just to get yourself moving forward, right? It can be simple. When you're waking up in the morning, don't put your phone right by your bed where it's within grabbing distance. So the first thing you do is grab it and invade yourself with negativity. Put it somewhere else where you got to get up and get dressed and get moving before you hit all of that. Right? Get outside and go for a walk. Go walk the dog. Go somewhere with the family. Call someone you love. Take small actions, even when you don't feel like it. And you'll find if you take those actions, you start to feel like taking more actions. Motion creates emotion. Get yourself in motion. So guys, there's a couple thoughts. I don't want to minimize the viral threat that we're all facing with Corona. It's a real one, and we got to take it seriously. But I also don't want to perpetuate what I think right now is the greater threat. And while we're seeing graphs and charts and stats of how Corona is growing every day, we're not seeing the graphs and charts and stats of how much fear is growing every day. And I think if we were to be honest, that's a greater pandemic right now, and I'm more concerned with the effect of that pandemic, because most people don't even know we're facing it. And most people don't even know they're infected. And most people don't even know they're infecting other people every single day. And we got to stop it. So guys, let me know. I shared a couple thoughts. Out of everything I shared, what steps are you willing to take? Give me a comment below. Out of everything that I shared, what steps are you willing to take? If you got value from this, let me know what you found valuable. If there's someone that came to your heart and came to your mind, because right now they either are infected and you want them to be aware, tag them in the comments or share this post. Or they're not infected and you don't want them to get to that point, tag them in the comments, share this post. Or they are a force for good and they are a voice of positivity right now. Tag them in the comments, share this post. We need everybody to be aware that there is another war going on. And that war we all got to fight together. And I believe we can, and I believe you have it in you. And hopefully these tips help. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, stay happy. And let's stay out of the fear zone, guys, so we can focus all our energy on getting this virus behind us, growing together, rising together, and becoming stronger together as a human race as we go through it. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey guys, one last thing. I'm super excited that this new podcast, Alive by Design, just went live, and I want to celebrate by giving away $500 cash to 5 lucky winners over the first 5 weeks. You see, I designed the show to bring you inspired thoughts and fascinating conversations with the world's most impactful people, to provide transformative principles and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. And I'd love for you to help me spread the word now. So to enter the giveaway, follow 3 simple steps. Step 1, simply subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on this platform right now. Step 2, find this giveaway video post on my Instagram @BlakeMallon or my Facebook or LinkedIn profile and share it to your Instagram story or your Facebook and LinkedIn profile. When all done, simply comment "alive" and tag 3 friends on that same post. Weekly winners will be chosen randomly and announced publicly on my Instagram and Facebook story each of the first 5 Saturdays after launch. Would really appreciate your support, so if I've ever given you value, please do me this personal favor and go subscribe now. And if you found today's episode helpful in any way, make sure you share this with at least one friend today. You have the power right now to change someone's day, so send them a text message with a link to alivebydesign.com, or simply copy and paste the link right from this podcast platform. Who's one person you know right now that you want to see succeed, that you want to see grow, that you want to see feel more alive? Shoot them a text with your largest takeaway from today and be a light in their day. And if you were referred here by a friend, make sure you shoot them a text back and say thank you. I'd love to hear from you directly on what you got from today's podcast. So if you're up for it, drop by my Instagram @BlakeMallon and shoot me a DM. And as always, thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for you, and I hope our time together today in some small way helped you feel a little more alive. Until next time.